Do you want to know how to parent well when the children only come part-time? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting, good communication, and how to build strong family bonds all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about how to help the children when they're not there all the time. Consistency in parenting, especially when you are in a split parenting situation, can be difficult. In this video, we're going to be talking about co-parenting, how to do it really well, what principles and skills you can be utilizing for yourself and your children to make your co-parenting situation work well. It's obviously not ideal to practice co-parenting with children, but if that's the situation, then surely there must be a way to be more successful at it. Well, the answer is yes, there is a way to be more successful at co-parenting. There are a few stumbling blocks though, and I wouldn't be completely honest if I didn't declare that there are going to be some things that are just a little bit more difficult. One thing I think we need to get out there first is what is the goal that I have for all families. So as I'm teaching any of the videos here on this channel, the goal that I have is that the family will learn self-government, that the parents and the children will learn self-mastery over themselves, that they will take responsibility for themselves, and that they'll unify in their family bonds because they will care about the family more than they care about themselves. Now, I know this can really present a difficult circumstance when the child now has technically two families. How is the bond going to work out with the two families? Is it going to be playing one against the other all the time, or can the child learn how to navigate this world where they bond with two separate families? The answer is yes, a child can learn how to do that. It does require some mature processing. Hopefully the parents are maintaining maturity to help expedite that process, to help the child develop some maturity with developing the relationships. This does mean that the parent relationships with each other do factor in to helping the child develop maturity in their relationships with both of their parents. I want to also warn you about something, and that is just because your child feels close to you right now and they're distant from the other parent doesn't mean it will maintain that way. I just have to re-say that. Just because you feel close right now doesn't mean that it will maintain that way. It is very common for people in friendships and relationships to favor one over another and then to shift and to shift again and to shift. So ideally, we don't try to become the favorite. Instead, what we do is we try to help the child have the best situation for adjustment and foundation for life. And this means that they have good relationships with the families, no matter which home they're in. Now, I know that there's only so much about that you can control. You can only control your side of the situation. And if the other person is not behaving properly, what do? Well, you accept a no answer. You do the best you can on your side. And we're going to talk about what to do about that. But first, I think we really need to make sure that we understand how self-government happens. When a person learns self-government, they understand the cause and effect of any given situation, and then they possess a knowledge of their own behavior so that they can control themselves. So this means they understand cause and effect, they understand their relationships, they understand who they are in their relationships and who the other people around them are, and then they also understand how to communicate. They make plans for themselves and they move forward. That's what a self-governed person does. It does take training. It's a type of habit forming and training that has to occur, but it's possible. I've seen it all the time. For years, I did therapeutic treatment care for troubled teens, and those teens would go back and forth between my home and then their parents' homes. Sometimes it was multiple parents' homes. But I was the main parent. They would just go on visits, home visits with the other parents to try to fix relationships and stuff like that. And you know what? I basically was in a circumstance where I had to try to help them have good bonds with everybody, but maintain stuff at my house. Now, there is one thing that is just kind of a sad piece of news, and that is every time your child goes to the other parent's home or to another environment, maybe even just the school environment, when they come home and they are with you, there will always be this time of adjustment. You might even feel like, okay, now I have to undo what has been done and then redo what we've done here. It's just the nature of the beast. When a child moves from one place to another place, new habits are formed or utilized, and then you have to remind them or pre-teach them about what's going to happen now that they're at your house. So this means that pre-teaching is your friend. What in the world is pre-teaching? So I've written 11 books. All of these books relate to teaching self-government. I'm going to be referring to some of the things in these books. There's meeting journals, there's children's books that teach the 4 basic skills to children, and then there's 3 books just for the parents. Well, maybe I shouldn't say just, because the Roles book is a really great read aloud for families. But this top book here, Parenting a House United, this is the main piece. It holds all these other books and the other teaching self-government resources together. And in that book, I talk about pre-teaching. All right, so let's talk about pre-teaching. But before I do, I just want you to know all of those books that I just showed you that teach all the skills and principles of self-government, they are all available on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. So that's where you can go to get any of those things, and they're going to be cheaper than Amazon, just throwing it out there, FYI. Amazon takes a little bit too much of everybody's cut on anything that they do, so it's always usually cheaper to find the actual website where it originated. So let's talk about pre-teaching. Pre-teaching is when you tell someone ahead of time what's coming so that they can be successful. So what you're going to want to do is pre-teach your child before they go to the other parent's house about, okay, well, you have these skills and stuff. How are you going to maintain stuff there? Or how are you going to handle these problems you've had in the past there? Let's prepare you, right? So you're going to pre-teach them. Then when they get home, then you pre-teach, okay, well, now you're home. So now this is how it's going to be here. It doesn't matter what happened there. You don't have to ask a million questions. I mean, you can ask some, right? Check up on them, make sure everything's okay. But you don't want to be that person that's trying to control and micromanage and, all the stuff. Instead, just move on with what your jurisdiction is, which is now they're at your house. So now you're going to pre-teach them for how we're going to do things at our house. Some of the things that we're going to pre-teach is remember our skills. We've got these 4 basic skills. So remember that stack of books. There was 4 children's books in there, picture books that teach children the 4 basic skills of self-government, which are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. When a person learns these 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remind them about key skills, remind them how you will correct them. You will remind them of your family economy. What is a family economy? Well, it's not money. It's actually the way that you run your family. It's the way that you correct things, the way that you praise things, the way that you create rules as a family, the way you discuss as a family. This is all part of your family economy. So you're going to teach them about your family economy. When they come back from the other parent's house, you're going to remind them about your family economy, because chances are the family economy at the other house is slightly different. You might have no answers at your house that the other family does not have. And you need to bring that back to their attention so that they remember what will be corrected. Then after the pre-teaching comes the consistency. You've got to make sure that you use the same words before they left as you did when they get back. And you consistently use the same scripts, words, correction measures, so that everything is very predictable. When a child goes back and forth between different households, different environments, they really are struggling to find predictability. They feel anxious if they don't know how things are going to be. This will cause them to act out, to have attitude problems, to put up walls, to not want to talk about things with you. So ideally, what you do is you keep things the same every time. Now, the teaching self-government parenting approach is ideal for that, because the things that we say are scripted. Just so you know, I am not a scripted person either. I don't read anything to you when I make these videos. I just say stuff. Okay, that's the way I am. But when it comes to my children and helping them decrease their anxiety, then I am going to make sure that I give them the most benefit possible by having my words be scripted and predictable. I learned to do this when I was a therapeutic treatment care parent for troubled teens. They were very successful because I kept the words the same every time. And you know what I realized was that actually, if I think I don't have a script, I actually still do have a script. When I tell someone what self-government is, I say the same thing every time. Just about. I mean, it's very rare that I alter it, and that's because that's what it is to me. When someone says a certain thing to me, I immediately think, oh, what are they wanting me to understand? What skill do they need right here? Oh, they need a disagree appropriately skill, or they need an accepting a no answer skill, or whatever it is. I immediately go to that because I've trained myself to do it. But before that, I would train myself to talk back, to give them a narrow look in my eye, and to maybe fight with them a little bit, because I'm actually one of those types of people that's kind of strong-willed. I used to have no problem fighting with people before I taught myself the skills and principles of self-government. Make sure that you tell your children, I will say things just like this. I will correct you just like this. So when they come back to your house, pre-teach, remember these are our corrections, remember these are the consequences at our house, this is what I'll say, and if I ever don't say it, remind me by disagreeing appropriately with me. So you even give them a way to remind you, to bring you back to the predictability. I don't know if you noticed, but when I held up that big stack of books, on the bottom there was 4 books. Those were journals for the different meetings and problem-solving exercises that we do as a family. In our family, we have 3 meetings: couples meeting, family meeting, and individual mentor meetings. The family meeting and the individual mentor meetings are going to be golden for you. These are the times to show the children you care, you're invested, you want to know what's going on, you want to help them with things. You're going to help them make plans and follow through. You are going to be part of their lives, and they get to have a say in things too. And don't forget parent counseling sessions. This is a time where they look at their own problems and make plans for their success. Remember, the goal is to teach them self-government. As you give them the power to learn self-government and to employ it in their lives, they will honor you, value you, they will become close to you. They will see that you are trusting them in ways as they grow to grow up. That you don't want to hold them back and control them. You want to be there for them as they launch and grow. That will instill trust in them. Your children need you to be the person who is hopeful. They need you to consistently follow through with principles, not just react to things. And teaching self-government is key for that. Now, speaking of reaction, calmness is one of the most important things that you can give to your children. Honestly, it's a gift for yourself. Helping them be calm and you knowing how to be calm can be a total game changer. So the very first skill that I would like to teach you is calmness. And I'm going to do that by giving you a free gift. I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit. It's a toolkit just about one thing, about calmness. It's a beginning step. It's the starter path to learning self-government. That Calm Parenting Toolkit right now you can have for free. So in the description below this video, if you will click on the link that says teachselfgov.com/toolkit, then you can have the Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. Click on that link now. I'll see you there.